right, let's start before Penny gets to the bridge. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. We got fun and games. Hello, welcome to episode 53 of the Unusual Suspects podcast. My name is Dan, returning as your unusual host, I guess, for the time being, until he fucks off again in a couple of months' time. Joining me is always busy, always working hard, Andy. How are you, Andy?
Hello, I'm very well. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Oh, turning the big 3-0 like an old gun.
Thanks. Aren't you older than me?
Shut up, man. Don't tell anyone.
Let's not talk about who's the oldest, thanks.
Thank you for hosting last night. It's very nice. We had lots of fun and games. And yeah, it was good old fun for my 30th. 20s are gone. 20s are gone. Don't think about your 20s are gone. And also joining us is still questionably the nation's favourite, Penny. Hello, Penny.
Hi!
I
also like that you said that we're here with fun and games, whereas this will be the first episode in at least half a dozen where there is no game, I'm assuming.
Oh, you judged too quickly.
Oh, did
Miss
you bring
Bennett.
a game? Another game? I can't handle any more after last week.
No, I didn't.
I love a game. Oh, fuck.
But I brought a game of figuring out the film that I brought. That's the game.
As long as there's no points.
No, there's no points. It's just more of an understanding of what we watch. I'm sure we've all watched stuff that's going to be discussed later, like Johnny Mnemonic that we couldn't spell earlier, and we were discussing how the fuck do you spell Johnny Mnemonic because we're typing it in.
Why isn't it mnemonic with a P, like pneumonia?
When you say it,
is it a real word?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a mnemonic device.
Yeah.
Like
yes. Yeah. But I don't know if it's spelt the exact way it is, like in the film's title, if that's the right way, or they've just put their own spin on it because it's cyberpunky. I don't know. Either way.
I still don't know how to spell it. I've just tried to Google it again and I don't know how to spell it.
Good job. We'll be talking about that amazing Keanu Reeves film later in the podcast. But first, Penny, I'm so glad to be back introducing you.
You won't be.
I'm sure since I've been away, you've changed, you've discussed, you've come to a conclusion that maybe horror isn't for you. I don't know.
Technically, this film was an accident. I have been only watching documentaries again lately, and I have lots and lots of tabs open. I was going through and picking out documentaries and just opening tabs, and I'll watch that later on. So I picked a movie called Hacked and started watching it.
Wow.
And then I realised wasn't a documentary, was in fact a horror movie.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I heard about that film.
Yeah. Also known as The Den. It looks like it was, because when I tried to Google it, I couldn't find it. It was called The Den, came out in 2013, and then was possibly renamed Hacked and re-released in 2016, something like that. And
can you do that?
I don't know.
Can you re-release movies? Is that allowed?
It was called Hacked on the place that I watched it and said 2016. And then when I was trying to find more details about it, someone put, isn't this just The Den? So then I Googled that and I was like, oh yeah, it is this movie.
I mean, it's two conflicting statements here. You got The Den, which is referred to a couch sometimes, or you got Hacked.
Well, The Den will make more sense as we go through it. So
okay.
I would like to introduce the newest installment of Internet Ghost Movies. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I wasn't fucking prepared, Pen.
Oh, I'm an internet ghost. I'm an internet ghost.
That's perked me right
It's been a
up.
while.
That has perked me right up.
I didn't want to warn you and you'd be like, nope, not another one, and then not turn up or something.
Wait, is this going to be an ongoing series, so we should expect more, is what you mean?
I don't know, because I didn't mean to... Well, I meant to watch it, but I thought it was real.
An accidental series.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
So I couldn't find the original description where I thought it was a documentary. So I have the IMDb synopsis. While studying the habits of web chat users from the apparent safety of her own home, a young woman's life begins to spiral out of control after witnessing a grisly murder online.
This sounds like Friended.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed this one.
Really?
I would put it, host would be first,
Yeah.
this would be next, Unfriended would be underneath that.
Really? Okay.
It was a bit more, it was a horror thriller.
You've intrigued me, Pen.
So Elizabeth is the young lady in question, and she is using a chat roulette style website called The Den.
You've lost me, Pen.
What's a chat roulette?
Pen, can you explain what chat roulette is?
It's where people go online to meet other people and look at their willies.
Uh-huh.
Pretty
That's
much,
it, isn't
yeah.
it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, that's not its intended use, but
It's not.
that is what happens.
I've never used it, but it randomly connects you to another person on the site, doesn't it? Where you can talk to them. But it's usually willies, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I haven't used it
10 years.
10 plus years. Yeah. But I don't know if it's still going or not, but, you know.
God.
Write into us. Let us know. Are you a regular chat roulette user? And how do you rate the product and service?
How many willies have you seen? Probably don't count. It'll take
How
you a
many
long
willies
time.
have you seen?
So it's very similar to Hosted Unfriended. We get a lot of computer screen bullshit. It's basically all filmed on her laptop. Elizabeth starts off meeting Billy, who's a little kid. He's sitting in the dark and he tells her there's a monster in his closet. And she's like, no, I'm sure it's fine. He's like, no, there is. I'll show you. And he shows her and there's a jump scare and it's silly. And then you get like a gotcha and it's a shot of her face where she's jumped. So immediately I'm like, I don't think this is a documentary, you guys.
Where's the interviews?
I like that it
Yeah.
took to that point for you to realise.
Yeah. She's decided that she wants to do a project for, I guess, her university. And she is going online and she pitches it to a board who are going to give her a grant. And she's like, I'm going to stay logged in 24/7, talk to different people all over the world, record it and see what I get. Which makes me think she's very naive because
She's going to see a lot
what
of
school is
dicks.
going to want to see all the willies? Yeah.
Does-
Which
yeah.
we do see. No, maybe just the one willy, I think.
I mean, again, that should be a clue that it's not a documentary.
Yeah, it was in like the first 10 minutes and I was like, oh, I don't think this is a thing. So she gets a video chat from her boyfriend Damien to say, yeah, I got the grant. And then she starts talking to people. So we get, a dick. We get a couple of guys from India who are trying to convince her that the guy on it says that his friend is getting married next month and he needs to know how to please a lady. Could she please show them? She's like, nope, nice try.
Oh.
There is a puppet penis, which is actually very funny, that shows up throughout the movie on different chat roulettes. And then a guy cycling through Times Square, and you can kind of tell how old this is because she's like, how are you doing this? And he's like, 4G. I'm like, did we all have 4G in 2013? I didn't think it was a bit of a surprise.
It's been around since this decade. Well, the decade just went, most of it.
So that's quite cool. He's riding through New York. She's like, oh, that's really cool. How do you do that? He's like, yeah, it's 4G. And then he gets hit by a car.
Oh, okay. Unfortunate. Still thinking it's a documentary at this point.
This is where I was Googling it while I was watching it. And I was like, I'm going to stop this because this might be a thing.
Is this real?
I don't know if he's seriously hit by the car, but, he logs off after that because, he's kind of busy.
Kind of busy picking his teeth out of the road.
Yeah. The people in this movie, well, I know we're all more used to video chat now, but I only have one friend of the podcast, Em, and I FaceTime all the time, but usually I don't. It's usually text and maybe a phone call. All of Elizabeth's friends in this movie and her boyfriend video chat all the time, which I found really
so
What
weird.
age are they?
Early 20s, not children. Not annoying teenagers like Unfriended.
Okay.
But it's weird, they don't, it's not even FaceTime. They all do it I don't know whether they all do it through the Den or but it'll be like, oh, Damien wants to video chat. Like it feels like it's through an app rather than
What is the Den?
The Den is chat roulette.
it's chat roulette.
It's just a made-up version of chat
Yeah.
roulette.
So Elizabeth and her friend Jen decide to have a chat roulette evening with beer. And eventually they come across a photo of a girl and it's muted and she's got no video. It's just like the picture. And they skip that.
I can sort your webcam out.
Yeah.
Come on.
They skip that and they go through some other people and Elizabeth goes off to get another beer and then the girl's face comes back up and it says, don't click off, you dumb bitch. Like she starts typing instead. And then it says to Jenny, you you are an ugly cunt. So Jenny hangs up on her.
Sorry.
I mean,
Why is everyone so rude? What the fuck?
because it's the fucking internet, isn't it? That's exactly what happens.
I know, but still, like, come on. Just be a bit more, like, gracious.
Yeah. She flips her the finger and logs off and says to Elizabeth, I don't want to play this anymore because people are dicks. And then there's a little bit in the middle that I didn't really understand. I thought Elizabeth was trying to log back in, but I don't actually think it was her. I think someone else was logging in. And then the screen went kind of glitchy as if to be like, oh, you've been hacked. That's my assumption anyway.
I guess you see the screen.
Yeah.
And you just see typing on the screen and you don't see who's on it.
So I thought it was her. And then I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't her. Then it logs back in. I don't know if this is a thing you can do. So she's left it on and she's left it open, which is weird. But after the little hacking glitch, it turns on and you can see her sleeping, which I don't know if that's
If you activated the webcam?
Yeah, if they hack in and
If
open
you
the
could-
webcam, yeah.
Well, that's why you
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
tape over your webcam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I used to before we did this podcast, and I can't be bothered now. So enjoy that, everyone. So she's asleep, and it's the same picture of the girl, and you can hear muffled screams and noises and like smashes and bangs, and it wakes Elizabeth up and freaks her out. And it cuts to the next scene where Elizabeth is video chatting her nerdy friend Max and was like, I'm sure I turned that off. Like, that was kind of weird. He seems to be a computer person. So she's like, is that a thing you can do? Pretty much like I just did with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, maybe it was a ghost.
Internet ghost.
He's seen some fucking films. He already knows what's on.
He knows.
He's good. He knows what's on.
He's had the theme tune.
He's heard the film. He's a fan of the podcast. Friend of the podcast, if you will.
Thanks.
That guy.
There's some more chat roulette of a dude in a bikini, and then the girl pops up again. And she says to Elizabeth, do you mind if I type? And she's like, no. And she types a bit and she's like, where are you? I'm in a coffee shop. She's like, oh, I like coffee. Can we be friends? She's like, yeah, cool.
I like coffee. Can we
That's
be
what it says.
friends? Is it that fucking easy? My God.
She's like, yeah, sure.
Legitimately, it is, yeah.
Andy, do you like beer? Can we be friends?
I do like beer. You want to be friends?
Sure, let's be friends.
I'll be a friend.
You like a common interest that I like, but I don't know anything about you. But still, let's be friends.
I mean, it's irrelevant to the plot, so
I know.
It's fine.
I'm just shit picking it.
it's fine.
If that is a word.
Yeah, so the woman in the coffee shop calls Elizabeth's name. She goes, oh, hang on a minute. She goes up to get her coffee and the girl logs off. There's a couple more chat roulettes. They actually find a nice, normal British couple to talk to.
They're rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of weird with this because there were cuts between scenes where she obviously doesn't always have her laptop on, but because it's all filmed through the laptop, it was a bit confusing. So the next bit I've put, her laptop gets up because again, it's turned up. The next shot is of it looking at her in the dark again, but then it gets somebody's picked it up.
Right.
But for a minute,
Okay,
I'm like,
somebody's picked it
yeah.
up.
Well,
Okay.
eventually you see a
Right.
hand because I'm like, her laptop gets up. Maybe it is a ghost. And then it goes towards her bed and you see a hand and it's trying to touch her leg and it's getting a bit sexy. And then it turns out it was her boyfriend. Like, she wakes up and it was her boyfriend, Damien, creeping around in her apartment.
So he's picking up the laptop with the camera on, so we
It's-
see what.
Yeah. So somebody's turned the laptop on and he's picked it
Yeah.
up to film her.
Why?
Is that not creepy?
That's really weird.
It is very creepy because then he's like touching her leg and then he's trying to pull her pants down and then she wakes up and screams and he's like, oh, I didn't mean to scare you that much. And then they start making out.
What was the fucking best thing that he thought would happen? Because that just seems ridiculous. Imagine like creeping into someone's room in the middle of the night and then...
Gotta get that OnlyFans account up.
Yeah.
The best thing does happen.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
Yeah, they start making out and he is like, leave it on, leave it on. She's like, no. And she turns it off. Or does she? Well, she does, but someone else
fuck.
turns it back on.
Can people just unplug their shit? Come on.
Just shut the fucking laptop. It's as simple as that.
fucking hold down the power button, hard reset, you're done.
Yeah.
Everything is shut off. You're
No,
fine.
they leave it on and they leave it open. And then there is a scene that was just long enough to make me uncomfortable of him going down on her.
How long are we talking?
What do we need to know?
Long enough that I was like, is someone going to think I'm watching porn?
Ah.
So like, not really, really long, but long enough where I was like, this is just noises and sex noises.
Audio on?
I mean, the porn or the movie? Because I had the audio on for the movie.
No, what was going on was there audio
Yeah, there
included
was
in with this?
yeah.
Ah, okay.
So
yeah.
she's literally just making sex noises while it's filming her. I'm like, okay, well, this sounds, yeah.
And you're sat there with your popcorn enjoying the film.
At least she was enjoying it, I guess.
Yeah.
She was having a lovely time. And then you see that somebody is controlling the laptop, like you see on the screen, and that the screen is being recorded and it is being emailed to a bunch of people.
Oh no. They're going to see her for JJ.
And his technique.
Yep.
Exposed.
Wouldn't you find it weird, though?
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, let's not go into that. She has a little chat with her sister, whose name I can't remember, but her sister is pregnant, and they have a little chat. Then she goes back to chat roulette, and we get some guy trying to scam her in Nigeria.
Is he a prince?
No, but he says that he is, he's got $11 million that he needs to get out of the country, and he needs a beneficiary. And she's like, does this ever work? He's like, yes, I just need some of your details. And she hangs up on him. And then the girl is back from before, just the photo. And Elizabeth's like, oh, I remember you. And she's still typing. And she was like, do you like this site? And Elizabeth's like, yeah, it's all right. And she's like, do you? And she's like, she types, yeah, I like to watch people. Like when your boyfriend went down on you last night. It's not quite what she said.
Got him.
I've paraphrased it. Then
just a prank, bro. All right.
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't Mark Zuckerberg cover up his camera? I feel like if it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for...
He does a lot of strange things. That's I don't know if we should.
He also only eats things that he's killed. Do you know what I mean? He's a fucking weirdo.
Does he? He doesn't look like he could kill anything.
He went through a phase, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he went through a phase of only eating meat that he had personally hunted and killed himself.
Oh, meat, but like, so he's not like, I can't eat popcorn because I haven't killed it. Like,
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway, so the screen then changes to a video, and it is the girl in the picture, but she is under a lot of distress. She is tied up. She's got gaffer tape on her mouth. She's being beat up. And then somebody pushes her head down onto the desk and slits her throat. Oh. To which Elizabeth calls the police.
Good.
Yes.
Good. This is good, because the fucking previous films, no one fucking did that. No one did that at all.
No, she calls the police.
Or they were too lazy to do it.
Yeah, and they can't really do anything because they're like, we can't investigate he was like, it looks real, but we can't investigate.
For fuck's sake, what's the point then?
This is why no one fucking calls the police.
Yeah.
This is fucking pointless.
Track the IP. Done.
Well, that's what she asked Max to do. She asked Max to look into it. We get more chat roulette of a kid that's like, show me your titties. There's a fat lady. And then there's a game of Russian roulette where, you see them putting a bullet in the gun, spinning it, shoots the first woman, nothing happens. Shoots the second woman, blows her brains out. They're all manically laughing, and then it's fake because she...
So is this like a haunted chat roulette is what I'm getting? It's
There's
like
no
got
ghosts.
weird shit going on it.
No,
Yeah, but every kind of new person is like a weird video sometimes crops up or something like...
It's all kind of different videos. I think they're trying to show that like that one was fake, so maybe the video that Elizabeth saw of the girl getting her throat cut, maybe that was fake too. Like she already had the kid in the closet with the monster, and now this one.
Right, okay.
But she says it looks really real and it was really scary, so she posts a message on the Den being like, does anyone know this girl? Has anyone seen anything? Has anyone seen this video? Has it happened to them? And then she talks to Damien, her boyfriend, and he's like, yeah, it's fake. And you can't do anything about it anyway, so don't bother.
How does he know it's fake? Is he just reassuring that?
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, it's fake. No. And then she tries to chat with him again later on, but it's an old video. It's old footage from a different call that they've had. And he's saying like, oh, I cleaned the apartment, and he shows it to her. And then it cuts to his apartment, but it's empty.
Okay.
So there's nobody there. And there is I'm assuming a laptop on the floor in his apartment. And there's nothing in it. It's completely empty. So again, she calls the police. She calls the same police and goes, well, this is weird. Like he said, I think he was going away.
This is weird.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I think he was going away, but she's like, he wouldn't pack up all his shit and then just leave his computer in his apartment. But they're like, they can't
track him.
They can't count him as a missing person yet. So they don't, because he's a grown man, I guess.
Why doesn't she call his landlord?
Yeah. So she gets the police to go to Damien's house. So you now have the main screen was Damien's empty apartment, and it then gets shrunk to the bottom right-hand corner and is muted. And you can see Elizabeth talking to the police in Damien's house. Then you've got Elizabeth's laptop in the left-hand screen, and Elizabeth is calling Jenny, but it's just a photo of Elizabeth this time. calling Jenny, and Jenny's like, what's wrong with your camera? And she's like, oh, it's broken. So she just types to Jenny, I've got a surprise for you. And she's like, what is it? She's like, come around, come and see. So Jenny's like, okay, I'll leave now. Like, I don't know who's got the time to just suddenly be like, yeah, all right. Like,
yeah, they're not working. What is this bullshit?
Yeah.
They're not working. Oh my God. You're fucking... never mind.
She's like, hurry. So she's like, okay. And then, so she goes to Elizabeth's house, and instead of ringing on the doorbell, she types in the video chat, I'm outside. I found their whole how they use this video chat weird. I know it's for...
Yeah, but that's what the youth do these days, isn't it?
The plot device.
It's movie.
Yeah.
It's for the movie effect. I guess they have to do it more often than they would normally.
Yeah, and eventually there's a bunch of different types of cameras and it gets a little bit confusing. But Elizabeth, inverted commas, messages back and says it's open. And then my next note just says, a Slipknot-looking guy murders her friend. Oh. So...
It was Corey Taylor all along.
Slipknot was my first thought, but it was kind of like a Hessian sack over his head. He's got like blue overalls on.
So not Slipknot at all then?
Not Slip. Well, originally I saw a bloke in a boiler suit with a mask on. So he shall now be known as Slipknot throughout the rest of my notes.
Okay, well, I'm going to have problems with this then, Pen.
I was going to say, well, for legal reasons, I'm assuming that none of Slipknot have ever murdered anybody. So
I think some of them have come close.
With Psychosocial playing in the background. That's a big giveaway.
Elizabeth's sister messages Elizabeth and Slipknot answers it instead and pretends to be Elizabeth. And then Elizabeth's professor, I guess, the lady that she was in contact with about the grant for this project at the uni, calls her and she's like, what you did was really inappropriate. I'm really mad at you. I've had really angry board members. How could you do this? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you emailed everybody. She's like, no, I didn't. And she started looking through her emails. And the dirty video of the boyfriend going down on her went to all the people at the school.
Did it go viral?
It didn't. It just went to the old people on the board, which is a bit disappointing.
Oh.
Yeah, they put the kibosh on that. They're like, we're not doing this project right now anymore because you shouldn't be doing that shit, I guess.
You should be doing that.
Yeah, taking the piss.
The thing about this movie was, although I knew kind of where it was going and it is nothing new, it was quite a slow build up and it was there was some tension with it. I was kind of impressed. I just want to point that out while I'm rushing through it, I suppose. Elizabeth is still trying to get hold of Damien, so she goes onto his friends list on the Den because she doesn't know any of his friends in real life, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So she goes looking for him and then it shows that he was online 2 hours ago. Then she's asking the friends, like, have you seen him? And she talks to a couple of people. It's kind of pointless. Someone sends her a link. It's a video of the puppet penis again.
Yay.
And she's looking through all the old videos. She's looking through the last video that she was talking to Damien with, and you can see she's like zoomed in and you can see Slipknot behind him now. So she calls the police again and goes, look, there was something. She's always calling the police and it doesn't help. Good.
No one's fucking doing it in the other films. Good on her.
Nothing is happening when she phones them, so what's the point?
But nothing is happening. Yes, I know. This is completely pointless.
She might as well not fucking bother.
No. Well, then she gets a video chat request from Damien, but it's just like a remix version of their old conversations to be creepy. It's like bits of Elizabeth and bits of Damien and Max, and that somebody's like edited together. And then he sends her a link. And what do we not do with links from strangers on the internet, people? We don't open them.
Open them up in 10 tabs.
10? It's not anywhere near enough tabs. She opens the link because she thinks, she wants to know what's going on. And it just deletes her hard drive, which I'm pretty sure you can't do that fast. Like, it starts to delete everything and mess everything up. And
you probably could. If it's a virus,
Kiana did pretty good.
Yeah, maybe Kiana could do it. She now can't get hold of Jenny because, she got attacked too. So she's messaging her on the Den and she can't, because again, why? They're not ringing anyone again for the movie, but it is a little bit silly where you're like, if I was really desperate to get hold of you.
Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually Jenny replies and says that she's home. So Elizabeth goes to her house and nobody answers. She tries the door and the door is open. So then she decides to call her and she can hear the phone ringing because she can't find her in the house. So she calls her and she can hear the phone ringing and she, it's all dark. There's nothing going on in the house. And she goes upstairs and she does that trope of going into the bathroom and pulls the shower curtain away. And Jenny is lying in a pool of a bath of blood and water. And she goes to touch her to check that she's dead, and she's not. And it was actually quite a good jump scare. They can have points for that.
So she's covered in blood.
Well, she's in the bath, and I'm assuming they filled it up with water. And what it appears that when Elizabeth gets her out of the bath, she's slit her wrists, or somebody has slit her wrists. So
Right.
the bath looks like it's full of blood, where it's more full of bloody water.
It's diluted.
Yeah.
Like Finto.
Yep.
Yeah.
She gets her out of the bath, calls an ambulance, but unfortunately, Jenny doesn't make it. And later on, Elizabeth receives a suicide note email.
Oh, no.
Why could Jenny not talk?
I think she was like passed out, and then when Elizabeth touched her, she just kind of goes, ah.
Oh, it was the dude who looks like a fucking clown from Slipknot.
So this is all, like, I would recommend watching this one. Things are starting to creep up on Elizabeth. We are kind of running through it, but she's obviously like, okay, well, people are disappearing and I don't know what's going on. So she starts watching YouTube videos of how to load a gun. Because I'm assuming you can just go and get one in America, so then you need to know how to use it.
That's a deep rabbit hole to go down.
You can, yeah.
Jeez.
And then she gets sent a video of Google Street View, and then that cuts to a video of her sister inside her house being crept upon by this camera. Mm-hmm. So again, she calls the police, but she calls the police pretending to be her sister. This I thought was really smart. She doesn't say, someone's going to attack my friend. She says, someone's trying to get into my house. Yeah. Which I thought was really smart.
And I think they've got a gun. I've heard gunshots.
She was just like, someone's trying to get in my house.
They'll be there in minutes.
We can't identify if there is a gun there.
Can't check all the guns.
It's past lunchtime is in 5 minutes.
It's probably just a spud gun, or a Nerf gun.
Probably.
Yeah, so she gives them the address, and they're like, are you in danger? She's like, yes, I'm in danger. Someone is trying to get into my house. Then she tries to call her sister, and obviously she doesn't call her. She video chats her. She gets through, but she's like, you need to get out of the house. And obviously her sister is like, why? What are you talking about? And because the guy is a hacker, that her phone goes all glitchy, and you can't quite hear Elizabeth trying to tell her sister to get out. But she kind of gets the point across before she's cut off. And as her sister is about to leave the house, Slipknot gets her. I feel bad for Slipknot now, but the bad guy gets her. And then I got a little bit confused with who was filming it, because you then see the guy tying up the sister. So I couldn't work out if there was another person and someone was filming it at this point. And then there's a whole weird bit where, because she's pregnant, they like pull her shirt up and they're like running the knife along her baby bump, which is creepy. But then he hears the sirens, because obviously Elizabeth has called the police. He gets up and leaves.
Does he not kill her before he leaves?
No, it doesn't kill her. And then the camera that is filming him is following him out of the house, and he takes his mask off and you don't see he's from behind. And then whoever was filming it puts the camera down on the floor in the garden where it stays. And then the next scene is obviously the police are in the garden and in the house and dealing with her sister. And somebody walks, like you can see the police in the garden and setting up crime scene tape and stuff. But then somebody just picks up the camera off the floor. Like they've walked into the garden, they've picked up the camera, which is filming some policemen as well, then takes it to the window so you can see the police talking to Elizabeth and her sister.
Okay.
And I've just got who is filming it. And then they just turn around and leave. They walk past the policeman and out of the garden. So I'm just like, how has nobody noticed?
Maybe it is an internet ghost.
Was this a 2-man job?
Well,
maybe? Or a man and a woman?
It's either a copper. He's got the availability.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's never really, like, it kind of isn't, it kind of...
That's why the police didn't go. You're right, Andy. That's why the police were so hesitant to fucking go. I think he's right. I think he's on something.
It's never really kind of explained-ish, but the change in kind of camera angles and the fact that obviously they're trying to do all of it on screen, but then they do have secondary locations, I guess, made it kind of difficult to mix whereas Host is all in one place and Unfriended is all in one place, mostly. It was kind of confusing. Yeah. So then the person carrying the camera gets in their car and you see the Slipknot mask, which is when I'm like, oh, it's kind of like a bag rather than a Slipknot mask. That's on the passenger seat, and he films them following Elizabeth and the police in a police car, and Elizabeth, he stops kind of behind them, and Elizabeth and the policeman go into her apartment, check the apartment is clear, And the police guy's like, I'll be outside if you need anything. The film's like an hour and a half, and most of it kicks off within the last kind of half hour, 40 minutes maybe. So it was quite a nice slow build up of, oh, somebody is trying to ruin my life and kill all my friends, and then kind of shit hits the fan. Max sends her a message, and it's just a dark screen. It's obviously, you can't really tell, but it's a laptop or a camera on the floor in a dark room, and you can hear a knock on the door, and then someone opens the door and turns on the light, and it's Max's apartment, and it's completely trashed, and Max is obviously not there. And the policeman walks up to the laptop or whatever and sees it on the floor, and Elizabeth's watching it. She's like screaming at him, and then she's just like, behind you! And then Slipknot Man punches him in the head. He falls on the floor, and then he gets an axe in the face.
Nice.
And then Elizabeth is still watching her screen. The next shot is of a black and white camera that is hidden in her air vent in her apartment. So, you know, that kind of thing where she can see herself.
Yeah, classic.
Yep. So she goes and gets the camera, and then it gets a bit Blair Witchy because she's holding this camera. It's obviously no longer a laptop. And she's obviously panicking because whoever's been in her apartment, and she runs to go out the door, and she opens the door, and the policeman that was outside looking after her is dead and like hung up on the back of the door or something. And then she runs to another door, and she opens that door, and it's Slipknot, and they have a fight. I've just written, she stabs him, so many camera angles. Because I think he's got a camera and she's got a camera, but she's obviously, it's like found footage, shaky cam, and they're having a fight, and it's dark.
They really want to put through this gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that's the thing, like,
we got this gimmick that everyone has used before.
But that's it. Like, I looked up, Unfriended was 2013. And I wonder how many other films were kind of around then, but...
There's tons of them now, isn't there, really?
Yeah.
Like this. But
so, yeah, I don't know how many were back then. I was like, oh, like with Unfriended, like we said, it was all pretty much in one place, which was obviously easier. So I was like, oh, I like that they've gone to other locations. But it did get a bit... There was a lot of cameras. And
yeah.
It was a few different styles, like the camera screen and then the kind of Blair Witch found footage stuff together.
Yeah. It's why I like Host, because Host takes place over just one night. Yeah, and it's nice 1 hour long. Yeah. And it makes you feel like you're just watching something that happened in one night, and it's just these events happened one night pretty much. I mean, they do pass days sometimes in Host, but yeah, it's essentially one night. So you like it?
Yeah, she manages to get out, and I have no idea what camera this is now, but obviously she still has a camera, otherwise we can't see what's going on. And she gets in her car, but Slipknot's there again, and she kind of smashes into him, but he's managed to get her. So she then wakes up in a Saw-esque kind of grimy bathroom. She wakes up and she's all very... And he's not happy with that.
Just a cliche, isn't it? It's just another cliche.
This is why, like...
It does seem like... I thought the film was going to end on that camera moving where the police crime scene was, and you don't see anything after that. But it seems like we've got
a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next bit, she is in this location, and she actually... It turns out there is a camera attached to her head, like a camera and a torch, like, you know, like a miner's...
Like a GoPro
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like she can't get it off. Like, I don't know how it's attached. Like, whether it's like super glued, but like...
Screwed? You screwed it into her cranium?
Pritt stick.
Yeah, it doesn't look screwed, but it doesn't look like... It looks sore around the edges and stuff.
No more nails? No more nails is fantastic.
It's Gorilla Glue, isn't it? It's what people put in their hair. It's probably that.
Like that woman put on her hair.
Good.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Recommended, fully recommend. 5 stars, 5 out of 5.
Before that note, I've written her escape noises are similar to her sex noises, because she's like chained up and she's trying to get out. And they just sound like her sex noises.
She might have been chained up in both scenarios.
That's true.
Oh, Andy, you devil.
So, yeah, she realises there's a camera attached to her head, and she's got... there is another laptop. And then there's also CCTV footage as well, like in this warehouse or wherever they've got her. And she gets a video of Damien, and he doesn't look very well. And then there's also a video of, like, he's talking to Elizabeth, and then a video of Max pops up, and he's like, it's a recording, don't watch it. And Max is like, is just waking up and is screaming. He's like, I saw this yesterday, like, it's not real, like, it's recorded. And then Slipknot pops up behind Max and suffocates him with a plastic bag. So the pacing is what I think I liked about this, that it was like, I've said before, it's like a slow burn, and then she is literally like, fuck, everything is going fucking wrong. So Max is suffocated, she's crying, and then Damien is murdered as well. I haven't written down how he was murdered. I think they just beat the shit out of him. Then Slipknot Man comes in and they have a fight, and she manages to strangle him with the chains that are on her, which I'm not saying women can't do it, but like,
I mean,
it's different. You have to strangle someone for a really long time to actually, they were quite long chains, big old chains.
Like wrap around his neck sort
yeah,
of
she's
bit?
like wrapped it around
right.
his neck and she's killed him. Like, it takes a long time to, not from personal experience, before you guys say anything.
Hasn't he kicked the shit out and murdered numerous people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what I imagine is quite a
One girl.
small lady manages to
Petite.
Yeah.
to fucking suffocate him.
And
This sounds like bollocks.
yeah, I think on one of the true crime podcasts that I listened to, they were like, it's something like, think about how long you think it would take to strangle someone and then at least double it. Like, it takes a really long time. I know they shorten it for movies, but that was just a bit like...
Yeah.
So then she goes through his pockets, gets the keys for the chain because he just happens to have them in his pocket, and she gets out. So then you get all the CCTV footage of her running down corridors and trying to get out and stuff like that. And then I've written Balaclava Man now, or he's just washed his mask. It turns out there's a different guy in a different mask because he's now got a white balaclava on. And he's skulking around and the purge alarm goes off. I'm making the... You know how normally I take a shit film and make it funny? I've taken quite a good film and made it sound worse, I think, which is not my intent.
There's just so many elements.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they used the purge alarm, like the actual purge alarm, which made me sad because just made me
I don't know
think
what
of
the purge alarm means.
No. As in the alarm from the movies in the Purge movies. They have a certain alarm when the Purge starts. There's a certain noise.
Give us an example, please.
I can't.
Andy's a big fan.
I've seen the first two, but I forgot. So it's like a crow. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's one.
I'm not even going to attempt it. Then she she finds a sledgehammer. She fights Balaclava Man with a sledgehammer. And she gets him on the floor and she pulls his balaclava up only halfway. And she's like, where's Damien? Where's Damien? But this kid, he's like 13. He's like a child. Like, not, they don't make a big thing about him being a child, but I'm like, this kid's like a teenager. This is, I don't know what's going on.
Is it the kid from the beginning with the thing in his...
No, I think it's just a kid.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I'm now like, okay, well, there's Slipknot Man and now there's Balaclava
I'm
Man.
trying to connect the dots here, and it's like,
Yeah.
does it relate to him or him? Or like,
Well, she's running around looking for Damien and she gets outside and then there are more Balaclava men. There's a fuck ton of them now. They're turning up in cars, getting out of vans, trying to get her. She's smacking them with sledgehammers. One guy gets out of a car, she whacks him with the sledgehammer and steals his car, and she's driving away. And because obviously the bit with the camera stuck on her head, this is how you've got all this footage now, because otherwise
still on her head.
Yeah.
Sorry, has she just turned into some sort of fucking superhero? How is she doing
Yeah,
this?
that's what I'm thinking. Like action hero.
Well, she has got a sledgehammer.
Yeah, sledgehammers are
Still.
not easy to wield.
No, that's true. We'll just go with it.
One minute she's getting oral, the next minute she's fucking beating up people. What the fuck is this kind of
there is
superhero?
about an hour
Seriously.
between those bits, if that helps.
First she's getting head, then she's smashing them in.
Way.
Wait.
So she's driving off, she's getting away, and then a truck just hits her.
Oh, her one weakness.
Yeah.
With the sledgehammer.
With a sledgehammer.
Optimus Prime rocks up.
And hits her. And then they're dragging her out of the car, unconscious. Then we go back to laptops and we've got someone logging into the den. We've got the little login screen. And it's the lady from the Nice British Couple before. And she goes through a couple of chat roulette scenes. The penis puppet turns up again.
Classic.
And then she gets a message from Elizabeth.
Let me guess, it's just a picture?
Yeah. It's gone full circle. You were less excited about that than I was.
Pretty unsatisfying, I'll be honest. If that's the end.
No, it was good. So, yeah, they're going to do to her what they did to Elizabeth. The British woman sees a video of, which was weird, it was Elizabeth being hung and like she stood on a barrel and they kicked the barrel out from under her and she struggles for a bit and then they let her down and then they shoot her in the head and she's dead. And obviously, why would people do all of this and film all of this?
Yeah.
for a creepy dark web website.
Oh, so it's just the same as... I'm not going to say what, but...
No. So then you get a shot of a guy who's looking through this creepy looking website, and it's got different videos of different people. What do they call them? Narratives. Different narratives.
Yeah.
And he clicks on one, but he needs a premium account to see that narrative. If he wants... and it's got like an advert, so that he can get access to full webcam takeover, home surveillance feeds, hacked emails, and interactive torture. How much do you think that will set you back?
30 quid.
Just out of interest.
$9.99 a month.
$99. Good shout.
$9.99 a month.
Oh no, $99.
Oh,
One-off payment.
monthly installments.
I did look. I paused it. How bad is that? But I couldn't tell. But he clicks on
Do you
this one
get a
person's...
20% discount for being a long-term member?
Maybe. He did say a premium account and then $99.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just... The next scene is he clicks on it and it's the beginning of the British woman's narrative. So it's the beginning of them starting to...
Right.
So it just goes round and round in circles. And I actually really liked it. As tropey, and it was definitely better than Unfriended. And it was definitely more thriller-y, although with all the gore and stuff. Like I said, the pacing was nice, and I was genuinely like, ooh, like what is going to happen next? Whereas Unfriended, I was just like, when are they all going to die? So, yay, Internet Ghost.
I mean, it sounded sounded good.
I mean, if it's not your thing anyway.
I mean, the problem is, I've heard it all.
Yeah, and you've heard it before.
I have heard it all before. Yeah, it's kind of, especially with that ending.
Yeah.
It was like, oh.
We're struggling to find horror films that we haven't touched.
But I like that kind of genre. But I like it when they do something different, because it seems like everyone is doing it. I don't know how much different they can
do anymore. And obviously this one's kind of old. But
that film I recommended ages ago, Disappear or something, is a good one, because it doesn't do horror. It just does like a reality thing of it. But
obviously originally I was looking for a documentary, and I thought it was going to be a documentary about a girl kind of maybe not necessarily going on chat roulette, but doing a thing where she's talking, like what she was obviously trying to do originally, and talk to different people and get different people's stories and stuff like that. So when I thought it was a documentary, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Like, just have something on and, you know, meet different people. And
then when you saw it was a horror, your eyes lit up and went, no. I must continue to watch this.
Straight to the top of the list.
No, I stopped it and then was like, well, maybe this will be worth talking about on the podcast. So, and then I didn't have anything else to talk about, so I was like, well, I better watch that today then. So watch Host.
There you go, behind the scenes.
Yeah, watch Host.
Yeah, watch Host.
And then watch this, even though I've gone through it now. But this one was quite a good one, whereas Unfriended was just, you know, shocks for the... Well, and Unfriended was about a ghost, so not the same. This one was, you know...
Bullshit.
Bad, bag-headed, balaclavaed men. Or women, I don't know. I only saw men. Could have been women. I don't, you know, we want to be inclusive. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
You are very beautiful.
Thanks. So what are you guys up to?
My friend wants to know, will you tell us how to satisfy a woman?
Excuse me?
He's marrying next month and he'll have to satisfy the bride.
You know, I think maybe you guys should just download some porn.
Oh, it's not that easy. Please, you must show us. Just show us where he needs to touch her.
Nice try, guys.
Hey, Dan's back with some documentary recommends. What a fucking shit show surprise that is. Way.
Christ, we really are staying on brand today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, really are.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Weiner is a film.
Excuse you.
That came out in 2016. It is a political fly-on-the-wall documentary about Anthony Weiner.
This was one of the ones that popped up when I was looking through, and then when I realised it was about Anthony Weiner, I didn't open it in a new tab to watch later.
He always gets his wiener out.
He does.
Well, let's not... If you know more about him, but I'll give you the premise for people who don't, if they kind of want to watch this. Anthony Weiner was a congressman, and he was a very kind of like energetic congressman, and he had his wife who was kind of close to Hillary Clinton, and eventually she ended up helping Hillary in her kind of election run and stuff, so she was quite close with kind of the people at top. But Anthony was this guy who was kind of a very liberally kind of Congress guy who kind of used to like shout at people in the Congress building. What's it called? What's the
Congress building? It's just called Congress.
In Congress.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one. He used to shout at people when other people didn't shout, and he was kind of very different and kind of stuff, and people kind of liked him. Unfortunately, though, one day his wiener
Got the better
did
of him.
leak on his Twitter account. One of his photos of his basically his boxers showing his dick basically ended up going on his Twitter account. So there was this questions of whether he was sending it, like DMing it to someone privately, and he accidentally did put it publicly.
Like
and all
Hayley
that kind of
Williams
stuff.
accidentally posting her boobs on Twitter.
I haven't seen that, but either way.
Check them out.
That put me right off. Check him out. Essentially, he ended up basically resigning as a congressman. And this documentary picks up years later when he's trying to kind of have a comeback story running for mayor of New York. And it's literally the whole camera crew is following him throughout this whole, trying to get himself as mayor of New York. And he's still getting references to this day about what happened with the Twitter account. And he's kind of like walking into people. It's New York, after all. It's the fucking loudest place in the world. So he's getting all sorts of shit from people on the street and stuff. And there's half of it is him trying to deal with that. There is his wife also, who he's still with, trying to deal with it. And then it's the whole campaign. And the campaign itself is fucking mental. And it is really, 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 really good kind of viewing. And it also, you'll flop between either you'll flop between you'll flop between either liking him or hating him at the same time. Like there's parts of it where you're like, okay, I get him. And then the other parts you're like, no, what the fuck's he doing kind of thing. It's really, really good. Really, really great footage. Just, it's a mad fucking campaign story. And a strange man. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Very strange.
It doesn't help that his name's Weiner, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect, isn't it? Like the scenario of events that came in his life,
all the
essentially.
journalists, Weiner's Weiner. It's, the headlines write themselves.
The headlines were literally just, jokes on his wiener, pretty much. The other one, which I've recommended a lot to Penny, especially, I think, in the last couple of weeks, not Andy, has been a film called The Overnighters. And I think this is slotting into that really prized possession of Dan's top 10 documentaries of all time. I think it slots in there. It is a documentary about basically North Dakota had a bunch of oil fields. And they built a bunch of, I don't know when it was, let me just, 2014, between 2010 and 2014, North Dakota had an oil boom. And so they had a bunch of jobs that were available in North Dakota. The problem was, in North Dakota, there wasn't enough housing. So what ends up happening is a lot of people would go to North Dakota with no houses, take the job, get paid a fucking, decent salary, but have nowhere to live, so they sleep in their cars.
We've spoken about this
I'm
already.
sure you've...
I've just said.
No, I'm sure you've told us about this before.
I didn't speak about it in detail. I only watched it when I was on hiatus.
I'm just trying to think.
Someone has definitely spoken
Someone's
about it.
definitely told us about this.
All right, it's good.
Sorry,
watch it.
I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just suddenly I've heard they don't
Did
have...
someone else talk about it? Or?
No, I think you
Somebody
did.
must have, because I think it was you.
I don't. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, it was either you or Penn. It definitely wasn't me.
No, I haven't seen it, but I remember
You're
somebody...
going to have to tell me, because I haven't been on it for a while.
No, I remember somebody telling us about it and how they didn't have houses, so they would just have to go there and work, and they were homeless.
Okay, if I've talked about it, it's really good. Watch it. It's one of my favorite ones.
I don't know. Maybe Andy and I are having a mass hallucination.
But in fairness, we are 3 episodes in now?
Oh, yeah.
So this is the
We don't
first time
remember.
we've touched the same thing more than once.
That's what she said. Wait.
I think that's commendable.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to do it.
What the fuck are you derailing this book? God damn, I'm just trying to do my speech. Come on. It's good. It's really good. It's all about a pastor and him trying to take people in because they're trying to get these jobs. And it deals with him trying to help all these people, but he can't because there's so many of them. It's really fucking good. I can't stop thinking about it. Watch it. But I did watch some. Now, I had two fucking films, and man, I've had these built up inside me for fucking weeks. And
There's too many innuendos this week. What's going on?
I mean, I could have splurred it all over the place and talked about it, and just been a quick one, nice quickie, and I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about them both now, or are you going to save one? Are you doing one big package?
I have
or
about 3, so I'm doing
2
one.
smaller?
Yeah.
Too small a ghost.
I'm doing what? I mean, I could do a quick one on. I could put one to the back and leave it for the back, and then just put one out in front right here.
Should we get to the thrust of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a bit of cleanup afterwards because there's a lot of mess, but that's that's the way it is.
Erection.
We haven't even got to the
Do I
seepage.
pay you or something?
There's so much seepage later on, guys. You don't even know.
In 2020, there was a movie called Search and Destroy. Has anyone seen Search and Destroy?
No, it rings a bell. Haven't seen it.
Because there was a 1995 film called Search and Destroy that's probably more popular, which is why I'm saying it's a 2020 film. I'm not going to talk about much because I did enjoy it. However, let's have a read of some of the IMDb reviews really quickly. What did I just watch? Entertainment value 10. Cohesive story 2. Explosions 10. Times I laughed out loud a lot. Times I think I was supposed to laugh out loud. I'm not too sure. This movie is one of a kind. I only watched it because it was 1 out of 5 stars on Amazon and the trailer looked worse than a 1 out of 5 stars film. So I decided, what the heck? I can't remember the last time I watched something with such obviously bad acting in it. See Johnny Mnemonic later.
I'm having a look too. There's so many 1-star reviews on this right now.
This movie exceeded my incredibly low expectations. I should have went ahead and bought it instead of renting it instead. Laughed the whole way through. 8 out of 10. Now, the reviews are so decisive. They're either 10s or they're 1s on this thing.
Dan, it's a 2.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Never mind that.
That's below my usual 4.
Never mind that. Because
Why do I feel like we're hitting Neil Breen territory?
Never mind that. Because I loved this silly, stupid film. I laughed a lot. And I love to laugh.
You do love to laugh.
I do love to laugh. And that's, if your film is shit and it makes me laugh, hey, you made a good film in my eyes. Now, before you criticize, hold your thoughts because there is a sad thing at the end. So please, before you start criticizing this film, your words may come back to haunt you a little bit. So just bear that in mind a little bit. Search and Destroy is the most cliched action film I think I've seen since, God, what's the most cliched thing we've probably seen recently, action-wise?
Expendables?
Well, you funny should say that. The director has directed The Expendables. He's also directed Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, that's crap.
He's also directed London Has Fallen.
Also crap.
You can see where we're going with this, right? So it's over the top action boy now, action girl now kind of stuff, right? It is so strange in terms of things they decided to do in this film. In terms of an action film, you think normal action film, shoot, shoot, bang, bang. You've got your kind of like cliches and stuff. We get it. But there's like little things that make this film so uniquely perfect. For example, for some reason, every track that plays in this movie is an 80s synthwave soundtrack.
I mean,
well, that's definitely a slice of you, innit?
Yeah.
I was watching it going, oh, this music's pretty good. The problem with it is every scene is 80s synthwave soundtrack, which means even when you get your quiet, tender moments, you've got a bit of
porn music,
and it sounds like it's like a mixture of Miami Vice a little bit. But the problem is the story is about army, like it's about like a modern day army guy, and he's shooting people in like Eastern European Albania or somewhere. I couldn't.
These things don't fit together.
No, but it just they had this weird obsession with like the 80s synth wave. Like every track, it would just burst and come on like randomly sometimes. Sometimes the volumes were different for each track, so you couldn't hear people talking at some point. So
Birdemic looking at you.
Yeah.
Andy's pissed off.
I know it is. Another thing this film does, which I notice being someone who uses video editing software, fucking hell. In the intro, we get introduced to a bunch of soldiers in this platoon, all-American platoon. And when they go and kind of do this like little voiceover, we were just brothers in the back of the Eastern European.
I've missed his movie voice.
That's what it sounds like. I'm not fucking kidding. It's like old man epic voiceover, but he's like struggling, like he's on the toilet, like he's trying to get one out, but it's like never coming out sort of voice.
Coming soon.
Good. He kind of goes like, I was Lieutenant Walker or something like that. And then for some reason, the camera will like stop in a freeze frame, and then the free template, I'm not fucking kidding, the free template you get on Adobe Premiere Pro to do with sports teams. You know, like it's like a badge that comes up and screen.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like a lower third, but it's meant for like sports teams.
Yeah. So you can be like footballer from team.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But
because I know about football.
it's in this film, and what you get is you get the soldier's name,
And then, like-
but on the like left hand side, there's like a club badge.
For the army club that they're in. Yeah. It's like the Brownies. They get like a different club for each part of the army.
Yeah, rank.
I don't know what.
Sounds amazing.
I mean, they do have ranks and stuff, but I don't know what's sadder that I noticed that was an Adobe Premiere Pro template you get free or that. Yeah, there's a lot of weird editing things. Too much for me to talk about. One thing I could talk about, though, that is related to our British viewers is Leslie Grantham is in this.
Hey.
Do you remember Leslie Grantham? Mm-hmm. Anyone?
Dirty Den?
Played Dirty Den in EastEnders, yeah.
I didn't think he was still alive, I'll be honest.
He's buried under the Queen Vic, isn't he? I believe.
Yeah.
This came out in 2020, guys.
I mean, not in real life, buried under the Queen Vic. I meant in
Oh,
EastEnders.
okay. I was like, fucking hell, okay.
They didn't
Alright,
dig
I thought
up
he
the
was
Queen Vic to bury Leslie Grantham.
I thought he was internet fucking ghost for a minute. Fucking hell. I didn't know why he was in this film.
No, I think someone hit him with the Queen Vic's head and they buried him in the... They were doing the floor and they buried him in the... Why do I know this?
I don't know. Well, it seems like that character has carried over by being hit in the head and stuff because
Dirty Den in the army.
for some reason, the casting is all over the place. That's one clue to this. He is an American general who has served in the American army for years. And our main character, who's this John Cutter. Oh, I'm John Cutter. It's so fucking mad. John Cutter is like, all his battalion died, so he retired, and then fucking Leslie comes along and goes, why don't you come back for one more mission? Cliches.
That's not how the army works, is it? I thought that was just like the police. I didn't think
He literally finds him in the woods and goes, come back to the army, John. And he goes, sure, why not?
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know either. The problem with this is, and my main point, is Leslie
It's Leslie
is
Grantham.
trying to do a really deep American accent in this. And what happens, and I can't replicate it because it's truly fucking unique to hear. It's something that is quite extraordinary. He has the American kind of howdy going, like kind of thing going. But subtly, every like last few words of his sentences, you've got the all right, mate.
Oh no.
Cockney accent coming through.
Oh, no.
It's amazing. It's amazing to listen to. Honestly, there's so much. There's just so much I can go into. It's a stupid fucking over the top film. Some people think it's a spoof, but it's not a spoof when you are including. Yeah, people thought it was a spoof action-y film on 80s action films because they had the director who did like Expendables and a bunch of like over the top action films and stuff. That's fine, but when you are making basic mistakes in filming, like not turning the green screen on in the background,
Oh no.
I'm not kidding.
How did he do this if he did Expendables? Didn't he then? Or was Expendables after?
He produced Expendables.
Oh,
he
okay.
produced. He
He's a
directed
producer. He's only
this film.
directed 9 things. This is the most recent of the 9.
This is one of them.
So if that's you, right, Dan,
Yeah.
you've made a movie, you've tried your very best, and you've done
Yeah.
what you can with Adobe and all that.
Yeah.
And you put it out and you're very proud of it, and Leslie Grantham's in it, or
Yeah.
someone from Hollyoaks is in it, and you're very excited.
There's loads. Yeah.
And everyone thinks it's a spoof. Do you correct them? Or do you own it and you just the room that shit and run with it?
I think it's. I don't think it's a spoof though.
No, but what would you do if that was you and everyone thought
Yeah,
your
of
movie was a
course.
spoof?
Yeah.
Would you be like, no, it's serious, or would you lean into it?
No, I would obviously say it's a spoof to get out of the negativity.
Nice.
So that people can give me a high mark for thinking it's. I mean, it's a long discussion we could have about like bad films.
Yeah.
Are they good because we like them, or are they bad because they're actually bad
Yeah.
films? Like, what's the kind of like the line here?
We've sort of touched upon it in the court, haven't we?
Yeah.
We did a bit, didn't we? Yes. But I like this because it's just, it has a lot of money behind it. Like, it's really kind of
Where
like,
did it go?
I saw the behind the scenes and I didn't go looking for the behind the scenes, and I'll get to that really quickly in a second, but I've seen the behind the scenes. There is a fucking 60-man camera crew for this fucking thing, and special effects and
But
stuntman
not
and
one
women.
person to turn the green screen on.
But There's just so many errors. Like it's so, and the storyline is so stupid. It's typical save the world, get the girl storyline. You know, and there's so many problems with that as well.
This makes me think. Like we talked. Look, I know we said we talked about this, but like Birdemic obviously has a lot of errors, but Carousel, which I will bring up till the day I die, apparently, technically was pretty good. There was only one bit where I wasn't too keen on the audio, but other than that, like, I don't remember any errors of like sound or editing, or the effects were pretty good. So the fact that he can make
I've seen Carousel, and I am not. The views of Penny do not represent exactly the views of me, especially.
Like, there wasn't a bit where nobody turned the green screen on, or like the levels were wrong, or
true.
That's
True.
what I'm saying. Okay. Like, and people are like, oh, that's not as good, but like
it's a technically well-made film.
Yeah,
I did laugh when I saw the green screen a lot. So
but I don't think he was supposed to.
But it still made me laugh. That's why I love it. It's just it made me laugh so much. So there is a lot of shit I could go into, but I'm recommending it. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is silly, but fucking hell, I had a fucking blast watching it.
I might check it out and see if
now,
you're wrong.
Here's the sad thing. I was laughing at this film a lot. And then when I saw the credits roll, by the way, the ending is amazing. But when I saw the credits
there was
roll,
something sad. Shit.
There was 10 minutes left on the film when the credits started to roll. I was like, there can't be 10 minutes of worth of credits and stuff. And there wasn't. It stopped after 2 minutes. And then at the end of the film, it comes with the behind the scenes included.
Oh.
So I didn't wanna, but I was like, okay, let's see how they made this amazing thing. And Danny Lerner is the director. This was his last film he ever made. He's the one that was involved in the Expendables and stuff. He died while filming this, apparently.
Oh no!
I don't know if they took over or something, but this was, I think, his last one that he was in, because there's nothing else after this.
No.
But they did say in memory of him at the end of the behind the scenes.
I mean,
as well.
it still doesn't make it less technically correct just because he died.
Do they have in memory of Leslie Grantham as well? Because he died 2018.
No.
Oh.
Did you? Oh.
Poor Les.
No, they didn't. Poor guy. He did a great job pulling off that weird fucking accent that is just so unique. But yeah, so I was sort of sad, but at the same time,
it doesn't make the film any better just because he's dead.
Yeah, this must feel bad being your like last piece of directorial work. I'm being honest here.
He doesn't know.
Really bad.
He's fine.
I mean, he doesn't know. But
you might think it's an absolute success, but that might be why it's so shit if they've sort of left it as it was, as an homage to him specifically.
I think the directing is good, but I think there's all sorts of other things that other people just didn't do right. I think the directing, the fight scenes are great. They're amazing. But because it's the fucking guy who did Expendables and stuff. But everything else, editing, audio, story, casting.
Maybe that's why he died, because everyone else was shit.
Probably. Acting, falling in love with women is questionable in this film.
That brings up a lot of questions.
What does that mean?
Do you want me to explain?
Yes, I think we need you to.
I'll very quickly do it. The bad guy in this film is amazing. He's this like Eastern, I can't remember his name. He's this Eastern European big fucking dude with like a fucking beard and everything. And he's a great villain. He takes no fucks. He's like going up to civilians going, I will shoot you like a mosquito if you fucking move and stuff. I'm like, I am fucking
Who shoots
in on this
mosquitoes?
Guy.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know.
They're so tiny, you can't get them.
No.
His delivery and lines are just fucking phenomenal. I love it. Anyway, there is one scene where he's on a train. Now, don't ask any questions because it'll go on forever. He has a carriage in this train that looks like a bachelor pad with chests of drawers in it.
Okay, you're making it hard not to ask questions, but carry on.
And like a cow-striped sofa. Right. So, he has a woman in there who is a random woman. I've never met her before. She just kind of turns up at the end of the film.
You've never met her before?
Personally, I don't know who she is.
I haven't been formally introduced by the movie, okay? It does this a lot, okay?
Okay.
So he kind of has her there while he's sitting on the couch, and he just kind of stares at her for, I think, around about 4 shots. So I'm going to say about 20 seconds in total, just stares at her. Like just
maybe she's
blankly.
like a living statue or painting.
That's what I thought. And then the next shot, he's like all over her.
Oh.
Like literally, there was no chemistry, but then there's like a break in between, and then he's all over her. And then he kind of does the same thing with a woman he captures who's
Just
like...
the way he's looking at him.
But I don't understand. Like, they're just sitting on the couch. What's so... Is that
I
sexy?
mean, if Tom Hiddleston looked at me, who knows what would happen if he'd let me. So, I don't know.
Thanks for that image.
Well, I didn't want it to sound rapey.
It still did.
Well, they still did. It's just, there's a lot of questionable things in it. That's one of them. I could go on forever. Please watch it, though. It's 2020, Search and Destroy.
How is it
You'll
2020?
Have a great time.
It took Leslie Grantham died in 2018.
I think they made this in 15, and it took so long to get, like, out.
Oh,
I really think so.
bless them.
I think it was around about that. It seems like it's been in production for fucking ages, so...
Oh, okay.
Good job, guys.
You did it. You got it out.
You did it.
Like Anthony
kind of.
Weiner, you got it out. Good job.
Hooray.
Hey.
Segways. I'm getting better.
That's me, Lieutenant John Cutter, Rangers. We've been tasked to rescue a VIP and his family from a small terrorist cell in West Africa. What we didn't know was they were being led by the world's most notorious war criminal, Igor Rodin.
Been a while, Lieutenant.
I'm out, General.
Igor Rodin.
Let's talk about Johnny.
Do we have to?
Johnny Mnemonic is a 1995 film that we have picked. My choice for film out of the hat.
Yeah, don't say we. Don't put us in with this.
Weeks ago before I left. So I left them with a long reminder of what's to come. So I gave them a chance to kind of get prepared for it. So obviously that was my plan all along. This is a film.
No, go on.
Go on.
I was going to say, I have a question before we start.
Yes.
Okay.
I was waiting for it.
I have many questions, to be fair.
Sure.
And I probably know what Dan's going to say. Is this better than Hackers?
Yes. Million times better.
Andrew?
Yes.
Fuck off.
Thank you.
Fuck off.
Oh, Pen. Fuck. Hackers is not a hard one to beat. Let's be honest here. Come on.
I literally have a note that says if they say this is better than Hackers.
Absolutely. Way better than Hackers.
How?
I will explain once we're done with it why it's better than
Yeah.
Hackers.
Okay.
I probably have the same thing, but we'll explain. So 1995, starring Keanu Reeves. This was pre-Matrix, but this was post-Dracula,
Oh.
right?
On the scale of 1 to Keanu. Yeah.
I mean, that's the two, like, I guess people know most. If you know Dracula, you know how bad that was. And if you know Matrix, then you got a little bit better there, I guess. And this was the in-between bit.
We're forgetting Bill and Ted, of course.
Oh, Bill and Ted. Yeah.
Where's it on a scale of Bill and Ted?
I mean, he can do the whole...
Because he was good in Bill and Ted, but good
Yeah, he can
for
do
what
that.
he was
Goofy.
doing, but they are different characters.
Yes.
They are, pretty much. This film is set in 2001. Yay! No wonder I picked it.
Do you mean 2021?
2021. Yay! I got the year wrong.
Not 2001.
Listen, I've been fucking locked in for a year and a half. I don't even know what fucking day it is at this point.
We've all been locked in, mate.
It's not 2001, love. I know we all want it to be, but it's not.
2021. It's set in 2021,
Getting senile, it's time 30.
where in the future there are data couriers who literally carry data inside their heads because it's too dangerous to put it on the Google Drive or whatever equivalent they had in 2021.
I have another question. I know they did it, like, there's not a lot of room in his brain, is there?
Well, we get to that.
But, like,
why he has room.
But brains have more power than that. Is his brain...
Pen. It's 95. They thought a gig was like a fucking terabyte at that point, like in 95.
Yeah.
Like, so 160 technically is what he had.
Yeah.
Is fucked up.
25 years ago, that's
Yeah.
an unfathomable amount.
Yeah.
But even for, like, your brain's really good. Was his brain a bit like... I imagined it to be a bit like a partitioned hard drive.
I don't know the detail.
I was trying to get my head around it. This film is stupid.
Where's the C drive? Where's the E drive?
How do I install the printer?
Oh, you'd never be able to do that in 95.
I'll do an update.
Is that what it was like? Because I know he had to get... Sorry, I've gone ahead now. But I know he had to get rid of some of his old memories. But it's a bit like a partitioned hard drive, right? But he did have to get rid of some old shit to fit that.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. I guess he has different folders and files for different memories, but I don't know how it really works. It's not really explained that much.
No.
This film is based off a short story that is done by, to many people, the godfather of cyberpunk. I forgot his name, but he is a guy who wrote a lot of novels and cyberpunky kind of stuff. I will say that this film added a lot of things that were not in the short story. This is why a lot of people got angry with this film. There's a lot of things taken out that they didn't put in this, and I'll go on to explain later.
Was it by PKD?
No, it's William Gibson.
Oh.
That's it, William Gibson.
PKD.
That's what Henry calls him on last podcast. And they were literally like, nobody calls him that except you, Henry. It's Philip K. Dick to everyone else.
I mean, it confirms that you are the Henry of this podcast.
It does.
Disruptive, I would say.
On brand, though.
Yeah.
So, we get an intro, pre-title. Haven't had them in a while, since Star Wars, I don't think. Second decade of the 21st century. We see there's low techs and corporations against each other and elite agents.
So dramatic.
Oh, God, I'm getting a buzz just thinking about it. Fucking love me some cyberpunky drivel.
Oh, speaking of drivel, wet wired.
Wet wired. Couriers have wet wired implants in their brains, which allows them to store capacity. As we talked about, they could have 80 gigs, 160. But don't go too much because you might end up taking out some real memories if you want to put more data in there.
And you'll get synaptic seepage.
Seepage.
You all know how I hate that word. They say it at least 3 times in this movie. I was not happy.
Well, in this world, there is also a disease called NAS, which is nerve authentiation syndrome. I think authentiation. No, got that wrong. NAS. There is a disease called NAS. It's most commonly known as the Black Shakes. It has infected much of the world's population. It's fatal. There is no cure for this at all. That's important to know for later. Anyway, we meet Keanu Reeves, a young Keanu Reeves. He has a woman in his bed. He gets to talk to a man on should we call it FaceTime? Is that did they predict FaceTime?
Yeah.
I'm going to say not Simpsons. Not Simpsons. It was Johnny Mnemonic.
Udo Kier from Blade. That's who he's talking to.
And Wayne's World. They have a conversation. Johnny needs to have a 1.5 million to remove his implant device, return it to normal, but he gets one more job before you have to take it off.
One more job should get you the dollar.
Get you money.
Big dollar bills, y'all.
Johnny is basically going to end up going to a hotel, and he ends up... We see this device he has, which essentially is like a doubler. I mean, it had ×2 on it. So
yeah, because he's got 80
like,
gig, hasn't he? And he uses a doubler to make it 160.
So he has like a kind of like the Matrix.
He's got an external hard drive.
Yeah,
in his internal hard drive partitioned brain.
Yes, yes. So he ends up basically doubling his memory before he takes this job from 80 gigs to 160. When he meets the men who want him to do this job, they tell him you need 320 gig to do this job.
That's a huge amount back then.
What do you think it was?
What?
Lots of what's the file that takes a lot of space?
It did make me wonder, like, how big are these files?
FLV size.
It's just raw footage. That's what it is.
Complete raw footage. They tell him that he needs 320 to do his job. He kind of just goes, "Sure, I can do it." In his,
he's Keanu Reeves.
I tried to do Keanu. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I can't really do young Keanu.
You've got too much emotion in him. That's the problem. You're acting better than he is.
Yeah, that was quite good, but that was Bill and Ted.
Yo.
Yeah. It's still too much. Like you got
to be as monotonal as possible and put at least a second gap between each word.
I'm going to be honest. This is a bit of an art to Keanu. I don't think I can do it. It's really hard to do it.
It's difficult to sound both disinterested and, because I think that's what Keanu does. I think that's when he works best, when he seems disinterested.
Yeah.
That's why John Wick works so well.
Hey, stop it. Anyway, he ends up taking the job, and he... so, to describe this is, in order to implant this data into his head, they take screenshots that are passcodes, and there's 3 of them. Those passcodes or those images are from the TV. They're kind of built into his head a little bit, just things that are like memories. I think one of them looked like Radioactive Man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Or like the Flash. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a password. It's essentially to stop him
Yeah.
from just accessing it. So it's a password.
And stealing the stuff in his brain.
Yeah.
It's also nice to know in 2021 they still use mini discs and fax machines.
Yes.
Mini discs were great though. I loved a good mini disc.
I would have thought, like, if they were thinking about the future, surely the disc would have gone, but no, they just went small. They just stayed small. Fax machines, yeah, that's still a thing, I guess. So essentially, Keanu ends up putting the data into his head. These passcodes that get printed off are being faxed.
That also made me laugh that they literally print. These are so important.
Yeah.
They print them off in like a little photo strip and then fax them and then burn them. Like this, you think
Yeah.
they would have worked out some better level of encryption by this point.
Yeah.
Or Google Drives.
That too, but they had to do it for, I guess, movies. Yeah, Google Drive or something. The way Johnny gets stuff into his head is by putting on a really weird, very bland VR headset, essentially, and kind of going for a long period of time. Yes, like that. For a long period of time.
Nailed it.
And then has to use the fucking toilet. Because it was a bit too much.
Yeah, because it's too much. He's got to poop out some space.
It's got to poop out some memory.
Shit, I just forgot my PIN code.
He ends up going to the washroom. He has a slightly bloody nose. He tidies up, gets himself nice and smart. Meanwhile, the Yakuza are downstairs gonna try and grab this data. How they know he's in there at the same time? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. They end up breaking into this place, shooting up everything. I think there is one woman in that room, so she's hiding for a long period of time, and then she ends up did she kill someone? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Can't remember.
No, I can't remember. Anyway, they end up killing most of the people in there, including chopping the guy's hand off because he was trying to burn the passcode and it didn't burn correctly.
The
pictures, and he gets his hand chopped off, and the bad guys get 1 or 2 fragments of the picture, but not entirely the whole thing, so they can't have the full passcode. Meanwhile, Johnny says a bunch of lines to make him sound cool, including Baldy or something to the ball guy.
He does some one-liners.
He goes on Baldy, yeah.
He's got some, I think when he entered the room, he said something about chicken palm or something. I've got takeaway. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, he's got a pizza or something because they're like, you're late. And he's like, pizza?
Anchovies? Yeah. That's it. He's got a couple of silly one-liners, let's put it that way. Johnny ends up going back to the airport, detects Johnny's implant, and does say it has potential medical problems currently in your head.
Seepage.
The leakage
Seepage.
may happen sooner rather than later. And he's like, thank you, let's move on.
To me, it sounded a bit like a badly dubbed kung fu movie in places. Like when they were fighting near the beginning, it just very,
I
and
guess.
some of the ow, bleh noises, and like
yeah,
the woman that he talks to at the beginning, like that's in his room. There's a whole bit where she's like, Johnny, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, never mind. Like it's just it's all just like that.
We've got ice.
Yeah, like as if
terrible, isn't it?
As if like they're trying to fit the English in, and I just imagine their mouths moving like if they were speaking in like a kung fu movie. It was
one of my favourite lines is coming up soon, so I can't wait to tell you.
It's like when they put peanut butter in an animal's mouth to make it look like they're talking. I assume that's what they did to Keanu.
They might have overdubbed all the voices, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to watch again to find out.
I feel like I only really noticed it at the beginning, but I also, the longer on it went, the less attention I paid. So
Fair enough. In an office in New York, a man named Takahashi greets a man named Shinji and tells him the courier Johnny has escaped. Shinji accepts this little portal photo he has of the passcode that they managed to recover from the scene of the crime. So he's able to kind of hack in halfway, but he doesn't know the full passcode. He needs to get that from Johnny, because Johnny knows everything. So the Yakuza are after Johnny. Johnny has the data in his head. He also knows the passcode, but he doesn't really, because he has to hack into himself, and that will come in later when he has to find out what the fuck is the passcode. It's all a bit strange.
Surprisingly good cast in this.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Johnny calls Ralphie, and he's furious that the blown deal about everything went wrong and everything, and he's like, why is there people there? Why was it not an easy job? Anyway, there's a busy nightclub, and we meet Spider played by Henry Rollins.
Who is the only
Yay!
person, apart from Takeshi Kitano, that can act in this movie.
Yeah.
And we meet a woman called Jane. And she has implants in her arms because she does a test with Ralphie where she has to hold out her arms because she wants to become a bodyguard of his so she get paid money, and she can't hold out her arms without getting the shakes, which is
Also,
referred to earlier.
As if his name is Ralphie. Like, he's a big, scary German dude, I believe, who is German. But just, like, looking at him, like, he does not look like a Ralphie. Like,
He doesn't look that big either.
I suppose he's not that big.
He's got 2 big bodyguards.
He's an intimidating dude, and you're like, yes, Ralphie. Like, I don't know. It just annoyed me. Sorry.
What would you like, Cyber Demon? What was it? I mean, Johnny is not really
I don't know, but he just didn't look like a Ralphie. When Keanu's like, hey, Ralphie, why were the people there, Ralphie? Like, what?
We meet J-Bone.
Yeah, everyone in this film has a stupid name. Johnny Pneumonia.
Ice-T plays J-Bone, who's kind of like, at this stage, they're kind of like not the homeless group, but they're kind of like the scavengers, I would say.
The rebels.
Yeah, rebels who are kind of like not part of a corporation, not any kind of thing. They're just kind of out in the open. And
anti-establishment.
Yeah, they have camouflage gear, stuff like that.
They dress like everyone in Hackers.
A bit, yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
They are observing Johnny, who's in Dark Alley, and then Johnny basically gets a jump on by Baldy again. And the best line, I laugh so much every time I hear it, when Baldy goes up to him and says something about, you've run out of time, and then Keanu Reeves looks at his watch and just goes, time. Explosion up. I don't know why it's so funny to me. It's just the way he just says time.
Because it's so shit.
Yeah.
It is a shit like line before explosion happens. Like, you thought it would be a bit more to it, but just saying the word time. I don't know. I'm weird. I like that. It's funny. It's funny to me. J-Bone ends up helping Johnny in the end, and they end up killing the 2 bad guys. Johnny then ends up going to confront Ralphie to claiming there was all a setup, but he's taken... That sounds wrong, but he's taken from behind with a knockout drug. But he is hit from behind when he goes to see Ralphie.
Don't hit him in the head, though.
And he's unconscious.
Yeah. Ralphie's like, not the head. Yeah. Tell me you didn't hit him in the head.
Not the fucking head. This is when he wakes up from being unconscious.
And he finds that everyone wants to... They don't want to just take the data. That sounds so wrong to say. I don't know.
Data.
Out of his head. They've decided that they want to try and get everything that's ever been in his head. So I assume that was a bit like, you know, when you have to recover a hard drive and everything's still kind of imprinted on it. Is that kind of...
Put it in safe mode.
Is that... Am I kind of trying... I'm not an IT person, but is that kind of right? That's what I got from it. Because otherwise,
this film is not accurate. I'm going to be honest. It's not very accurate.
But the reason they wanted his head wasn't just for that one, because he was like, well, just take it out. Like, and they're like, no, we want everything that's ever been in there, so we need your entire head for that.
The reasoning was they were going to take it out because they come up with... There's a lot of jargon in this. So there's data slippage or data stream
seepage
that may come out if it's done the other way. So if they can take it fresh out of the head, it's just there.
But it wouldn't be fresh because it would be cryogenically frozen.
Well, think about it if it's in a fridge, right? And the longer it's in the fridge, the more...
Why is it cryogenically frozen?
That's why they had all the liquid nitrogen everywhere.
True.
I thought they were going to freeze his head. That's not fresh.
It's not frozen though, is it?
I mean...
I don't know.
Like...
It's like sat in his head, and if they just take it out now while it's still fresh in the head, it will be the best version of that data.
So that's just take it out. I didn't get why they wanted to cut off his head and take his head specifically.
It's just easier.
Because they need the head.
Why couldn't they just take it out?
They need the data that's in it. So it's easier to take the whole brain and then do it at their own pace than trying to take out just the data and there's still be some left.
Okay.
Plus...
And they might do a mistake or something.
Yeah, and if there has been seepage, then he's still going to know some of the stuff that's in there. So they take the whole head, he can't tell anyone.
Yes.
It's not that complicated, Bennett.
Sorry. It was a lot of jargon.
Anyway, they get busted because Johnny makes a deal with Jane. I can't remember how much. Makes a deal when she busts in on him and... 50 grand. And they end up slicing... Oh, no. Takahashi. This also, my girlfriend pointed this out, and I was like, very clever. But I also kind of pointed out why that might not be the case. So fight breaks out, and essentially the worst gate in the world that's easily breakable they could get out of closes on them. Even his lovely laser wire that is inspired by cyberpunk lore, he can't even open up with that broken gate, Takahashi, to get it open. And I'm like, really?
That guy's Shinji, but yes, I agree.
No, because Takahashi slices Ralphie's upper torso.
No, Takeshi Kitano is Takahashi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. He's the boss. He sits still in his office, doesn't he?
Yeah, you're talking about Shinji.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just referring to the second names, right?
No, because Takahashi is not Shinji. He's
The old guy.
The old
Yes.
guy, that's Takahashi. This was not the old guy.
Okay, thank you, Wikipedia, for mixing up the two fucking Japanese people. Thank you very much. Fucking racists.
Wikipedia cancelled.
Shinji slices Ralphie's upper arm in frustration because he can't open a broken gate. There you go. Now,
We've all been there.
We've all been there. My other half pointed to me that why is the woman that was hired by Shinji now following the guy that killed Ralphie? Or sorry, hired by Ralphie. Why is she now with him, chasing Johnny?
Because she's still got a job.
Did they make a deal? Yeah, I guess they made a deal on the spot, right?
I guess so.
Well, it seems so.
Well, that's what I said.
Surely
Damn you, Lyle. I was right.
Ralphie was in on it, so he still needs to help get Johnny.
If Ralphie's dead, she's not getting paid. If she sides with the Yakuza and makes herself useful.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Cha-ching.
I was a bit confused. I guess we all. Anyway, Jane and Johnny end up getting through a subway tunnel. Jane wants to get paid, and Johnny said he has a severe head pain episode. He keeps going, every 5 minutes or so. In this scene, Johnny reveals that in order to get that amount of data, 320 gig, into his head, he had to clean up some space using Microsoft Cleanup.
Poop out some space.
And poop out some space, and he had to get rid of some childhood memories, so why not? That's not going to come back later, why not? So he has no childhood memories, but he does get certain flashbacks, sort of, like from time to time, a little bit.
Yeah.
And they do another VR scene, this time with another VR glove thing where he's trying to
it was
track
so Lawnmower
down
Man.
the hotel room. Yeah, it was really, wasn't it? It's
He was very aggressively Tony Starkin, wasn't he? Moving all the
Minority Report.
Moving all the stuff
Minority
around
Report vibes.
I think we all feel how Jane feels in this scene, and this happens a lot. A lot of people walk out of the room when he's talking. This happened once before with the girl next to the bed, and now Jane just kind of walks away while he's doing his thing, like playing on his little VR headset. She's just like, "Oh, fuck's sake!" And
I thought about walking out of the room every time he started talking. So
he's a bit nerdy when he's on it. Let's just put it that way, but. Yeah, he's basically trying to locate the location where these guys came from and hack into things. Hackers stuff, Remember that hacker stuff?
Hack the planet.
Yeah, without bullshit catchphrases that we're so used to anyway.
he asks her for an iPhone. Did you notice that?
No.
Yeah.
No?
He says, I need such and such and such and an iPhone. But it's not an Apple iPhone. It's Thompson's VR headset. EYE phone.
Still, that's pretty amazing.
I was
right?
like, did he fucking say iPhone? That's weird. And then I had to do the digging.
That's pretty amazing.
Thing is, if this was The Simpsons, everyone would be freaking out again by now.
This came before The Simpsons. Well,
No, when did The Simpsons start?
it did.
No. Simpsons was 89, wasn't it? Started in
Yeah,
89.
but before they started predicting shit,
Are you saying that in the 6 years prior to this film, they didn't predict anything?
I'm saying from season 1 to 6, there was more about family values and less about the world.
I think you're probably incorrect. But anyway, let's continue with
Yeah.
this
Well,
film.
fuck you then. There is a thing that kind of appears throughout the movie. It first happens with
Takahashi,
I think. And then it happens with Johnny sometimes, where this woman, mysterious woman, appears on screens, or she appears in visions that Johnny has when he's having his kind of episodes and stuff. And she's sort of leading them into things, or she's saying, do this, do that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really known who she is yet. We also meet Dolph Lundgren, who is...
Do we?
From Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was he?
He is on the street, preaching. He's just hanging out, really.
He's the preacher.
He's not the Jesus guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was also quite good, I thought. Between him and Henry Rollins,
Yeah.
they were the highlights of this film.
Unnecessary.
I would agree he's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, in a barrel of shit, he was the highlight.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's not that bad.
Sorry,
It's
I
pretty
meant
good.
Henry was the highlight.
I feel like he's better now I know he's Dolph Lundgren as well.
Yeah.
So basically, the preacher and Shinji end up kind of making a deal, or they're on the phone together, like talking, and that may come up later. A lot of this stuff just comes to a head very late on, and it's just a lot of like talking, moving, and eventually just kind of comes to a head at the end when everything gets revealed, essentially.
Yeah.
Jane ends up going into kind of spasms because of the
These are so bad.
God.
The fuck was that?
What the hell is wrong with you?
Scared the piss out of
This
me.
film was stupid. This was stupid.
Ha, you got spasms.
Yeah, why
God,
was
what
she?
the hell
She
is wrong
wasn't
with you?
convulsing. Why was she like rolling around? Like it was so bad.
Because she has the
She's got-
disease that's killing everyone.
Yeah, but she wasn't. Come on, she wasn't convulsing like
She
in a-
was, she's
no,
got it.
she's like rolling around. You know, like you're trying to get a drunk, like a slippery drunk
She's got
person
her
into a bath.
limbs
Is that
can't
it?
function.
She's got nerve
Yeah.
attenuation syndrome, Pan. It's a serious
exactly
condition.
NAV.
I don't care. She looked like one of those inflatable wavy hand men, not a convulsion thingy.
It's like epilepsy for machines.
No, it was terrible. It was so bad. Don't fucking bully me. I know you bullied me because we found it in the quiz, so don't do it again.
Anyway,
She looked
Johnny
ridiculous.
ends up bringing her to Spider, since Spider and her know each other from the bar. And she tells him that Spider is the only one who can fix her up, essentially. So Johnny ends up going back to Spider. He says a bunch of fucking lines that makes me laugh all the time, like a gibberish. I need one of these things.
Do you know one of the things he did say?
What?
He said that there was a ghost in the machine.
He did. Internet
Another
ghost.
internet
He
ghost.
did, didn't he? Yes, he did. He did indeed. Yeah. He rants about information overload, and begins to examine Jane. Meanwhile, J-Bone and his cronies observe Street P striding down the street. Bunch of bullshit. So Shinji ends up getting a briefing about the woman who's kind of appearing in all of these kind of on the screens and stuff. And she is Anna. Now, Anna died in 2015, which was 6 years ago. This is from this year, in case you don't know. She's been imprinted onto a computer in Switzerland, and now she's a ghost in the machine, as Penny pointed out, advising the company from her present state. So she's like the AI. She's kind of like the HAL of
Siri.
the company.
She's the Siri.
Siri. So Siri. So she kind of tells them what to do, which kind of goes along with a lot of things. But at the same time, Johnny has been seeing her, so that seems a bit strange that Johnny's also seeing her at the same time. Johnny explains the situation with Spider, and
They also call Spider a flesh mechanic, which made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call him a flesh mechanic, and I did not like that.
okay, so there's this bit with Dr. Allcome.
Yeah, also made me feel weird. But anyway.
So Spider stabilizes Jane and scans Johnny. Spider's not very confident. Johnny convinces Spider to drive them to Dr. Allcome. Driving away, they run over a street preacher. In crowded makeshift hospital, Spider tells them that Dr. Allcome is merely an emergency code
Dan says
word. Allcome, get it? Code word. The fax was meant for them, the NAS underground people, basically.
They're the resistance, aren't they? Low tech.
Yes. So Spider looks into Johnny's brain, essentially, and he says he offers to remove the implants, but it would have severe adverse effects if he did. But he does tell him what the data actually is inside his brain, because we've all been wondering what the fuck's in Johnny's brain. It is the cure
Dun, dun,
for
dun.
NAS.
Wow.
Wow. Who would have funked it?
Doesn't he say he'll lose fine motor skills, be a bit dyslexic, and then there's something else?
Yeah.
He's like, fuck that shit, I'm not doing that. But I can't remember what it was.
He'll have memories shorter than 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. He won't remember.
Oh, yeah, that as well. So Johnny, he convinces him, he's like, you'll save millions of people if you keep this. And Johnny refuses the removal. Suddenly, street preacher enters and causes havoc in the hospital. Spider is tortured by the preacher. Oh, sorry, Henry. But Johnny and Jane manage to run away just after Spider tells Jane to get Johnny. So we now go to heaven. So heaven is quite appropriately named, I guess, is a bridge that's broken that all of the inhabitants, I guess, live under the bridge, but not necessarily under the bridge like under the bridge, like trolls kind of thing. They literally live hanging from the bottom of the bridge with like cars and wrecks and all sorts of things. And
a load of old TVs. That's what heaven is, a bunch of TVs.
I thought heaven was a half pipe.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Johnny needs to go there because he needs to kind of... I don't know if this point, I can't remember if they talk about you need to speak to...
Jones.
Yeah.
Jones. Yes, they do.
Yeah,
so,
Spider tells them to go and see Jones before he's killed by the creature.
So go see Jones. He's in heaven. So they end up going there.
Fucking shit, you guys.
There's a lot of shouting from Keanu Reeves, how he wants room service, how he wants a hooker, because he's trying to get up to heaven. And they're just tossing down cars, kind of mistakenly, because the guys are just sort of like, who the fuck is saying all this shit down there and stuff like that.
And he's like, I don't want to have to save the world. I want all my hookers and my nice shirts back. And he shouts all his first world problems.
He does turn into a bit of a baby at this point.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? It's a bit strange.
It's like, I want nicely laundered shirts and I want $10,000 a night hookers. Wah. He does it exactly like that, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Just obviously a bit more monotonal.
Oh yeah, sorry, I can't. I was going to try it then, I can't. I want $10,000 a night hooker. That was just me being sad. That doesn't, no.
But luckily, J-Bone descends beside them in an elevate device. Johnny begins to have flash episodes and collapses as the three ascend to the bridge deck and they enter heaven. At the bridge, Jane confronts Johnny and the two of them kiss.
Weird, because she is so unlikable. Yeah. She's not a likable character at all.
Well, he's not likable either.
No, because when...
Here we go.
Because when they're like, oh, you've got the cure in your head, so we kind of, you're going to die if we don't take it out, so we should take it out and save a bunch of people. And he's a little bit like, I don't really want to. But obviously she's like, yeah, because you could cure me. I'm like, does anyone care about curing you? You're a knob.
I think the reason they put that in there is just kind of like you have to have the kiss kind of trope in.
It was lame
in that film. That's what I hate it as well because it doesn't seem that.
Neither of them have feelings. They're robots.
Really. They're both even Keanu. It's very roboty. J-Bone ends up taking them to the work area where there's several stacked video monitors and a dolphin.
Fuck this.
So
shit. Fucking dolphin.
Now. Let me explain something to you that was cut out of the original. The dolphin was supposed to be addicted to heroin.
What?
Oh, that makes it much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why is the dolphin was used in sort of like a test bed for like research for... I think the test was they were in the original story. It was the dolphin was... They're going to see if the dolphin could have the same understanding if taking drugs than it could... if it wasn't taking drugs, but they didn't have a use for it. So in the original story, it got dumped. So these guys end up picking up this dolphin, hooking it up. But every time it wants to read minds, they have to give it some heroin. And I'm not kidding.
You know when I'm talking about films and Andy's like, oh, pen.
But it's
that's what I feel like right now.
It's cool.
I will be honest, when we were watching this last night, because I started at like 1 a.m, because I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well done.
But the second they were like, oh, come and meet Jones, he's a dolphin, I very nearly walked out of my own house.
Yeah. I could just hear you in my head going, I'm out. Because I was out.
Why?
And I've written, the dolphin's going to get the data out. Fuck off.
He's not got any fingers. How's he going to work a keyboard?
Brain.
No.
Signals from the brain.
I can look past all the other shit, but a fucking dolphin, no.
Anyway, they end up hacking Johnny's brain with the dolphin.
Sorry, you mean the fucking dolphin?
The dolphin ends up getting the data, extracting it from Johnny's head in a bigger VR headset this time. They keep getting bigger.
Which Henry Rollins couldn't do without killing him, but the dolphin can do it.
Dolphins are smart. They end up getting the encrypted data and just basically spreading it everywhere in terms of like sharing it with the world.
They're like, set your VCRs, everyone. We're going to give you the cure.
Yeah. You still have VCRs? It's like, fucking hell, man. Well, I guess if they still have CDs, they probably still have fucking VCRs.
Also, wouldn't all that electricity and water be a problem with a dolphin? Like, would it not like fry the dolphin? I feel like there's a lot of electrical equipment and a lot
There's
of water.
many. I think it does damage itself a little bit during the process of one of these things.
It's also got
but
like
yes.
laser eyes or some shit.
Yeah, it's got red eyes. That's
Yeah.
all the heroin
Yeah.
that you don't know it's taking.
all
Microwave.
the heroin, man.
Wait, doesn't it like shoot microwave beams and?
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, because she explodes. I've written, how is she exploding Jesus? Is it the dolphin? Which is one of the weirdest sentences
Yeah.
I've ever written.
Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest. All that crap, except for the dolphin likes heroin, shouldn't have been in the film, but it was added. A lot of things were added that are silly, that are just put in. Like the love story is added and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, the love story is not as silly as the dolphin, I'm afraid.
I like a dolphin. It's funny. Anyway, a bunch of Yakuza end up showing up and they end up entering the place, shooting the place up, trying to blow up the bridge, etc., etc. But as mentioned, the dolphin has other ideas. When our preacher ends up turning up and trying to kill Johnny and Jane, and the dolphin saves the day, essentially, by killing the preacher.
With his brainwaves.
Then we get Takahashi turns up, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up shooting Shin in the back. So I think because he got away too much, I can't remember at this point. I've read so much of this.
So Anna, the sort of pharmacom internet ghost, tells him that the cure for NAS has been around for a long time. It's been around for like a decade plus. And it could have saved his daughter's life who died of NAS.
Yeah.
Why didn't she tell anyone earlier? If she's telling everyone now, she didn't think to mention it before?
Don't know.
I'm just AI. I cannot compute.
But now she can.
Probably. Yeah, because there's reasons for it. Anyway.
Just reasons.
He ends up getting shot and approaches Johnny with the wire device. He essentially kind of lets him go and says, yeah, you're doing the right thing. So he ends up helping them. In the end, Jane starts a distracting fight and Johnny tries to flee. Chased by a Japanese man. They fall through the wreckage and hang by their fingers high above the river. Johnny manages to get control. A bunch of shit happens and ends up killing Takahashi.
Because isn't he like, you can't shoot me in the head? But no, it was already out.
A lot of shit. All the stuff happens at the end in this film. I think it's just like the last 30 minutes actually, that's it. Like everything kind of just falls into place at the end. But
yeah,
still like the film. So a lot of people don't know this because it kind of flies by really quickly. But when after the fight happens with Street Preacher and he dies, Johnny kind of goes into unconscious mode. And when he goes into unconscious mode,
goes to sleep.
Unconscious mode activated, he starts having flashbacks of his childhood. And his childhood starts coming back.
Who cares at this point?
And he sees a lot of stuff. And then he looks up at the woman.
Is it his mom?
It's his mum.
Oh.
Do you know who that woman is?
No.
It's Anna.
It's the founder of Pharmacom.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah. Because I saw there was like
It's
a weird looking
AI.
up at the mum and then But I've literally only just put that together though.
Which begs the question, so she gave birth to him. They used her as the AI, even though she was part of the pharmaceutical company.
She,
and then
she started the company though, didn't she?
She was the
head of
founder.
company?
So it's just the same as using like...
Putting Elon
I've
Musk.
got no examples. But like Elon Musk essentially voicing the AI on Teslas, you know what I mean?
What frustrates me about the film, though, is even though he got rid of his childhood memories, surely he has something written down going, oh yeah, mum was head of...
Mum's name was Anne. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised that no one from Pharmacom knew. Because surely Takahashi should have known.
That's true, yeah. How would they...
And he would have gone, oh yeah, Johnny, you're fucking Anna's kid.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it is a bit weird, yeah.
Is it because this film is fucking terrible? Is that why?
I mean, it's not as bad as Hackers, but...
Let me end
Fuck
it. Let me end
you!
it properly.
You're wrong.
We get a lovely scene where the Pharmacon Tower is on fire, and Jane and the love interest that we've known for this film, Jane,
The most
and
unlikable
Johnny.
love interest to ever.
I know. They end up looking at the tower, and the film ends. Penny, what do you think of Johnny Mnemonic?
Oh, load of fucking stupid shit.
Okay, Andy.
I don't know.
It's not as bad as most things you've seen.
It's not.
Let's be honest.
It's not.
Right?
But
it's not great.
no, it's not great. Like I'm not mad at it. It was just fucking dumb. But yeah, like
But don't you find it dumb fun or anything like that? Like Hackers is kind of dumb fun for you. Don't you find this a little bit dumb fun?
I think the acting was too bad. I think the acting really
Okay.
put me off. I also really didn't like Jane at all. Like I didn't care about any of them. And even if I did care a little bit about Keanu getting the thing out of his brain, when he went all whiny about, oh, now I have to save the world and I didn't want this. Like, I get it, because obviously he was like, well, that's why everyone's chasing me and I didn't ask for this shit to be put in my head. But the way they did it just made him really whiny and like unlikable, and just I didn't care about the acting. I liked all the graphics and stuff. Like because this came out the same year as Hackers, because I looked it up.
Much better than Hacker.
Fuck off, it wasn't. Hackers was fun.
Much better.
And then
We didn't have towers.
yeah, so I didn't really care about any of them. Yeah, and then after the dolphin, I was like, this is fucking stupid. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, you're right. We've seen worse films, and it hasn't made me angry. I just have nothing. I don't even have a score. I've been trying to think. I don't even have a score right now.
Sounds like a 9 to me.
No.
Sounds like an average of 7.
No, it's not average.
You said it was not bad, but not good either. So that's an average to me.
Maybe they,
So
no.
7 from Penn.
No. Come back to me with the score.
Andy, what do you think?
I also thought this was a bit batshit, and I kind of didn't enjoy. Like, I remember writing down about 10 minutes in, I fucking hate this film.
Yeah, I've got 15 minutes in. This is so bad.
I put it all down to Keanu being wank, but once the rest of the cast comes in and you've got Rollins and Ice-T and Dolph Lundgren and Takashi, fucking banging. I was quite annoyed by the dolphin, but I think by that point I was like, well, it lives in its own universe, and that is obviously a big important thing for me. It's deliberately not in a realistic universe, and thus it can do what it wants with its own settings.
Oh.
It lives and dies by those rules. And having a dinosaur who's addicted to heroin who can use a microwave and blow someone's brain off.
A dinosaur?
Sorry, a dolphin. I wish I was a dinosaur.
I see now. Maybe a dinosaur I would have been in. Maybe I just don't like dolphins. Who knows?
But because it lives in that sort of world, it can do that, and I'm kind of fine with it. It's definitely not the worst film. It's definitely not as bad as Hackers for me. So I'm gonna give it a 5.
Ooh, slightly below average.
I wouldn't rush to see it. Slightly below average. That is bang on average, Bennett.
My average.
It's different. Everyone has a different scale.
Yeah, I have the same one that 99% of people have. 1 to 10, 5 is the middle.
I live in my own universe, Andy, so it's fine.
I'm not sure I would rush to see it again, but it definitely wasn't as bad as
No, I don't blame
I
you.
was expecting.
I watch it once a year. I said to Ben, I watch it like once a year sometimes. That's it.
I don't even watch
Just
Hackers
gets-
once a year. Just putting that out there.
This is my choice, so obviously I'm going to be biased, but like, I think out of all the fucking futuristic 90s films I've seen where they try to predict the future of things, it's alright. It's not great. It kind of is kind of watchable like years later in a way, but like, it's one of those films you don't go in expecting a groundbreaking performance or anything like that. It's just kind of a film that likes to have fun a little bit. The thing I do like, I like kind of the world's building that they did with it. Like, I kind of like that whole courier, like data transfer kind of thing. But there's so much little things, like the love story. The dolphin, you could say, is a bit bullshit or whatever, but
Maybe.
I would like to see them explore that a little bit more. Like, how is it all animals or is it just dolphin? Like, they don't really go into it a lot, which you could say, well, you don't need to be told everything. But at the same time, it seems like somewhat an interesting universe. But unfortunately, there is Keanu, who has lines that he's not particularly good at, and certain situations where he's not great. So I think it had potential. I could see it had potential.
I think now you've said that, I think that's why it annoys me, because I do like the idea of the data courier and the stuff, and obviously I'm fine with the, oh, look at them using their mini discs and their tiny capacity brains. But I think then I was just annoyed that it was, yeah, I think maybe that's it, because I didn't like the characters, but the premise was there, so I was annoyed it wasn't better.
Yeah, I do think Jane is one of the worst, well, probably the worst character in it, because she's so kind of not uninteresting, but she's just kind of a little bit throwaway. She doesn't really have any, you don't really learn about her, you know. I don't know that much about her besides her wanting to be a bodyguard, and that was kind of it. And then she kind of tags along with Johnny, and that's it.
And then she kisses him, and it's weird.
Yeah, that's it. And it doesn't really make sense. So there's issues with it, but I could see the potential there. But it is not a film you sit down to kind of enjoy. It's a guilty pleasure film is what I describe it. If you just want some silly, cheesy, one-line, action-y kind of stuff. And futuristic as well. So I guess if you like all that kind of silly things, then you might like it. I am going to give it a 5 as well.
I think that's fair.
I am going, weirdly, this won't make too much sense, but I'm going to give it a 3 because that is the number of times that I heard the word seepage. So there you go.
Excellent. So we have 13. Unlucky for some. Right, film out of the hat. Oh god, we got to do this again. Oh no, here we go.
You know when I said I went to see Hackers at the cinema with a bunch of, well, not, I went on my own, but like they had an anniversary. I bet that's kind of fun if you like it like Dan does, and you all go and see it in a cinema. I bet that's kind of fun.
It's a cult. I think Johnny Mnemonic is a hidden cult hit. I think a lot of people still kind of like it. It's same with Hackers. Like it's just kind of one of those things. Like no one else likes it, but there's a special little place in my heart.
If there'd have been a dolphin in Hackers, you guys would have gone nuts. Just saying.
Yeah, but Hackers is set in reality. Hackers is set in the real world, and that's the difference. That's the thing that we always come back to. It's set in a real world. It's trying to be realistic, and then it has some bullshit hack scenes that don't make any sense. Whereas this is set in the weirdest world it can possibly be in, and thus it's allowed.
The most important thing is doesn't matter about reality. It doesn't matter if it's real or fake or whatever. As long as you came and had fun, that's the most important thing.
He loves to laugh.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's set in reality. It doesn't matter if there's things that don't make sense. If you had fun...
Unfortunately, I did not laugh.
But that's fine. I don't expect anyone to laugh at that film, except for Keanu Reeves' delivery most of the time. Anyway, film out of the hat. So we take a film, watch it in 2 weeks' time. This film out of the hat is... Hold that thought, Pen.
Oh no. I don't know why I thought I'd be excited.
One of two ways.
I always
tell you
love
what, I've missed that music though.
Yeah, it's
we should have got like a really short drum roll for the shoe, just to be like the opposite.
No. Oh yeah.
Half a second.
Yeah.
I always love the dynamic of like such big drums, and then as soon as the drums end, I usually go, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
it just drops.
It's such a cheerful like little theme, and then fuck!
It is a Andy film.
Oh, is it going to be bleak? When you say "oh shit,"
yeah.
Well, I can't remember what I put in.
No, it's been a while.
It's from 2012. And it is a horror action film. Action boy now.
Action girl.
We are watching in 2 weeks' time. I don't know why. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Yes.
Do you want to explain yourself on that one?
Wait. When his country is threatened by a ferocious group of vampires, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, sets out on a mission to eliminate them. Andy, would you now like to explain yourself why you put this in?
Yeah. I thought it'd be funny.
Thank you very much.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it. It's okay. I seem to remember it being okay. I feel like it was directed by the guy who did Wanted, which I really like.
Timur Bergman? Oh, God, I can't spell that second
Birdman.
That is his name. But also,
Beckman?
there's two highlights of this. One is Dan going, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. And the other is I think it's such a weird, odd little film. You'll both get annoyed at it at different points.
Is it serious?
No, it
Just
can't
give me
be.
that. It can't be serious, right?
No.
Well,
oh no!
I mean, Abraham Lincoln is a kung fu expert with an axe, but he also loves his politics. So
I might actually like this.
I think you're going to dig it. I think you're going to dig it, and Penn is going to hate it.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. Anyway, we'll be watching that in 2 weeks' time.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Hopefully you can join us and talk about a classic, I guess, to come. Penny, what's our social, please?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Unusual Suspects Pod, and on Twitter at Unusual Podspect. I'm at Penny_photopit.
At Dan Talks a Lot.
At Choices21. And might I just say, it's so lovely that Penny's bothering to do the socials this week.
I was just about to say, I mean...
We didn't address that storm off last week, did we?
No.
We didn't.
How do you feel? How are you feeling?
Stroppy little shit.
I lost on a technicality and it was fucking bullshit. But I am going to point out that I stormed off.
Sore loser.
I stormed... It's fucking bullshit though, wasn't it? Stormed.
It was-
Technically, I won on knowledge because I beat Andy 5-3. But
you didn't win.
that's
on
like
numbers,
when people
did you?
do on The Price Is Right, and they win. They like one person says, "Oh, it's $50," and then they say it's 51. It's a bullshit win. It means nothing. I
Right.
did.
No. It's nothing like that.
It is exactly
It's nothing
like
like that. The answer was 6. You went for 12. I went for 3. I was the
terrifying.
closest. It's not a case of being
Still
like going
bullshit. I
one
beat you
underneath
in knowledge.
I was
That's
the
all that
closest.
counts, not guessing numbers. But anyway, I did storm off. But I also wear wireless headphones when we do this, and I nearly came back 3 or 4 times. But it was just too funny listening to these guys not be quite sure if I was kidding or not, and then trying to flounder around and remember the socials.
Pen's the glue. Pen's the glue.
I had it all under control. I knew everything.
You didn't even know the fucking socials.
Mate, I was the one who said the pissing socials.
Oh yeah, it was. Wasn't it?
You got them wrong the first time, I believe.
No, I didn't.
Can you give me some just quick little feedback? Was I being very helpful with the questions and the lifeline and the final question in terms of trying getting you to win? Because you nearly
Yes,
did win.
I did
You
nearly
just
win.
fucked up massively.
If that.
Massively at the end.
It was only.
And
Well, it wasn't massively because it was one question, but it happened to be 5 points, didn't it?
it
so
was
if it had
half
been a-
of what it was.
Yeah, if it had been a 1 point question, I still would have won. So
Okay,
Yeah, but the reason
so-
it was 5 points is because in every other game I've doubled your score.
I know
So he tried to give you enough leverage so that
he did,
you know, if
and
you-
it didn't work. But I still got more questions right than you, rather than points. So
But not
I'm
the one that counted.
happy with, no, but I'm okay with that.
Right, we're going.
The nation knows that I won.
Oh, fuck off with your nation. Those fucking disgusting
my
fucking
people, my people understand.
My
they know.
people, they know.
They know
They
about me.
Yeah, all right. Fucking rise up. The fucking war of the machines. Here we go. Come on, Pen.
Internet ghosts
Like-
unite.
Internet Ghost is my thing, bitch. That was my fucking save.
It was my movie.
Hey, we don't have that fucking language on here, you cunt. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Bye. Everyone.
Goodbye. Happy birthday, Dan. Bye.
Happy birthday.
Bye, bye.